Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Motor City edition of Amigos, Everything Amiga podcast. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, and well-known Amiga aficionado, Amiga wearing, joined by a man that eats, breathes, sleeps, drinks, and snorts Amiga. I give you the Brent. It's true. How's it smell?
No, it's grated up plastic, straight in the nostril.
Oh, good God, no. So, you may notice that this is not the boat. Contrary to popular belief, the boat has been issued forth out of town for some family business. And so, at the last possible minute, we couldn't find anyone better. And so, we brought in our good pal, our good chum, the Brent. How's it going this week, the Brent?
I'm sudden. You're like, oh, we need somebody to fill a spot. Bam, I'm there.
Oh, yeah. It's straight from work, too. That makes it better.
That's it.
And I'm straight for the ball game. So we're recording this so late. So, the Brent, this week, we'll be taking a look at a little-known strategy game, a little known by me anyway, called Detroit.
Yes.
Detroit. Now, when I mention the word Detroit, what comes immediately to mind?
Sports.
And do you have a favorite sports team out there in Detroit?
No, are you kidding me?
No. Which sports do you think about?
I just think sports. I don't know.
Listen,
sports I like.
You've got the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
You've got the Detroit Lions.
Correct.
You've got the Detroit Red Wings.
Right.
Tigers.
Right.
You've got the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
Any of those teams popular with you?
No.
No.
What? No. Just because I know they exist doesn't mean I like
Have
them.
you ever been to Detroit?
No.
No.
Why would I go to Detroit?
Now, we came close to Detroit, didn't we, when we picked up WWF Royal Rumble? I think we were pretty near Detroit.
I mean, we were closer to Detroit than the sun.
That's our pinball machine. You're not giving me much to work with here, the Brent.
It's like, hey,
You're not good
Aaron.
at this banter part of the show.
Hey, Aaron, what do you think of lederhosen?
Well, listen, I love them. I'm wearing them right now. I've actually been to Detroit one time with the folks, and we went. We were
Where
up
was
there.
I?
You were not around at the time. Yeah, because you weren't born. I don't believe you were
That's
born at the
hardly
time.
an excuse.
Well, let me tell you, it's the best trip I ever had with the folks. We went.
I doubt that's true.
We rumbled through there. You know, Detroit is an interesting place because it was riding high during the, of course, the car years where you had Ford, GM, all those guys making all the cars, and now fortunately a lot of the cars. Now, what's so funny?
The car years?
The big car years.
Those are gone.
No,
no
are
one's using
gone.
those anymore.
Because if you look, Detroit's actually slowly becoming smaller, and they're literally giving back parts of the city to the forest and stuff because people are leaving the communities. They're making deals and they're turning this back into rural areas.
Yeah,
because the city was too big.
Yes, it had definitely outgrown its abilities.
It's
to control. I mean, police, fire, all that good stuff.
They had a whole bunch of trouble up there, budgetary trouble.
Yes.
Of course,
and water
trouble. They've had to struggle.
Yes,
we can understand Charleston, West Virginia, as a city that's been on the decline for literally like 60, 70, 80 years.
If anyone knows decline, it's West Virginia.
Yeah, but unlike Detroit, where they just basically gave up parts of the town to the woods, we're actually annexing every conceivable part around Charleston to keep the city status, because you have to have a minimum amount of people to be considered a city, and that's what we have going on up there.
We're classifying trees, squirrels.
Yeah, everything's a citizen. Everything.
It's like, hey, what's your name? I don't know. You're in Charleston. Bam.
A lot of people like to make fun of a place like Detroit, but when you live
no,
here,
that's not cool.
We can understand their plight, because much like Detroit, West Virginia had industry that went away.
Yes.
And the big difference is Detroit had a lot of glory years, and we did not have that many.
Well, I mean, you have to define glory.
Well, it was glorious if you ran a mine. If
or
you worked in the mine, not so good.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the people in Detroit. That's why we dedicated this show to you, the fine folks of Detroit. But before we get to the big game, Detroit,
yes,
let's see what's going on this week in what I like to call the abbreviated Amiga news. Here we go.
It's a horrible name for a segment.
You see, you talked over the robot right there. Clearly an amateur. So,
I'm sorry, Mr. Robot. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
before the boat left, he did add one item here that I want to talk about. You may have heard of a little thing I like to call BAM, Amiga Addict, brother. And they have released a new issue here. It's a creepy looking issue,
Yes.
if I'm honest. I think we briefly touched on this last week. Look at this guy. In case you're listening, it's this guy on the cover who's being slowly a Japanese octopus here on the front.
Now, can I comment on this real quick?
No. So anyway, no,
Now,
go ahead.
I knew about this episode or this issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw it in one of the Discord feeds or popped on my email or something, but I want to comment on this cover. This cover is brilliant from a design standpoint.
Okay. Well, what appeals to you? Because you work in the realm of print and art. I mean, what makes this stand out to you?
I quite enjoy the tentacles. I mean, an amateur on this, right, would have put those tentacles everywhere, and it would have lost the appeal. But
it would have lost it to me.
They are just peeking over the edges of the other cells.
Yeah.
Because this is sort of like, I mean, it's not a comic book layout, but it kind of feels that way. Also, the slanted line at the top just adds to the chaos. No fooling, I absolutely was in love with this cover the first time I saw it. I believe Pixels was the one that pointed it out to me.
Yeah, he would. He works there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking at what they've got cooking here. It looks like some Beneath the Steel Sky action. It's got a WinUAE emulation special, a recap and refurb your Amiga section. So some good stuff there from our buddies over at Amiga Addict. So that's good stuff there. I want to move...
Great cover. I haven't got to read it, but great cover.
He's put the cover over. I want to move briskly over to the one thing that I saw this week that I didn't get to actually... Well, I watched the very beginning of this, and I didn't get to see very much of it. There's a man, it's a special man, and his name is BAM, Crazy Chris Edwards. Crazy like a fox. Because you can't be too crazy when some fine fellow drop kicks and sends you a CD TV.
Yes.
A CD TV? Are you kidding me?
Do we know the functional status of said device?
I don't know the functional status of said device. And if you want to find out the functional status of said device, you need to watch parts 1 and 2 here.
And I will.
Where Chris goes through these. In fact, we're looking at it right now.
Look at it. Look like it fired right up. Holy cow! What a generous fellow someone is.
That's super nice of someone to. And listen, people. One thing I've learned over the years. People, the Amiga community gets a bad rap sometimes, including from the boat sometimes, just killing them. But
Amiga,
we love the Amiga, and the Amiga
That's
people. You suck, whatever that was.
That was a bad
the boat
Amiga
doesn't
rap.
do that. Anyways, they always are very generous.
Yes,
and fine folks. We've gotten a lot of goodies over the years from in fact, myself and the family have been eating some of the yummy things that our buddy Graham Webke shot us over.
Yes.
We appreciate that as well.
You forgot the W.
Yeah, so anyway, check this out as Chris Edwards explores this beautiful, wonderful machine here, the CD TV.
That is neato.
He'll have 2 parts, and if you're one of his fine Patreons, you're already watching part 2. So that if you needed any sort of a slight push to like maybe throw him a buck or two, there you go. Early access. That's how you do it in the brand. I love that stuff. There's a few other things I want to touch on real quick, but while we're here, and one of them, Brent, we got to talk about it. In fact, there's 2 things. One, and this is news. As we record this, we are less than 24 hours away.
Yes. From
the International Computer Club. It's going to be Saturday, May 21st at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brent, this will be a happening.
I've heard.
We've got some late entries have just added their name to the sign-up sheet. So I think we've got 7 official people that are going to do some sort of presentation. There may be some additional, like, spur-of-the-moment presentations. I've also been told that we will...
You love those.
Yeah. I've been told that we will have a special guest or two, some luminaries in the retro field. Which
Oh,
would be
Aaron,
nice.
please.
No,
I wouldn't
real
call
luminaries.
me. Oh.
Yeah. You're a you're like the burnt out bulb of the retro field.
More of a black hole.
That's right. You actually take away interesting
That's
retro
right.
from other people. But it should be quite fun. Again, we're starting this at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, so the folks over in Europe can get on board early. 4:30 Saturday, May 21st. Of course, we've been talking about this for months now, but I thought I'd mention it one last time if you're interested in hopping on board. Now, there's another super important event coming up, but gosh, we're so close. We're dangerously close, Brent. And that is, of course, it's Boatfest, everybody. Now, for those that are coming to Boatfest, great. I'm glad you're coming, and I can't wait to meet you. For those that are on the fence, I sure hope you decide to take a chance. Take a chance on us. Remember that song from ABBA? I love them. And for those that are sick of hearing us talk about Boatfest, your pain will soon be over.
Now, Aaron, I have a question.
Yeah.
We have a few tickets left. I know that for because John hasn't said, please stop pushing.
Because I don't know how many tickets we've got out. I've got no idea.
I used to know, but I've actually lost
I don't
count.
know.
There will come a time, right?
Yeah.
This maybe Boatfest will be an annual tradition,
Oh.
and everyone can come. You know, if you miss this one, just come to the next one, no problem. That's all good. But the far more likely scenario is this is it.
You think this is the big one?
This might be a one and done situation.
Yeah.
And if you miss your chance to come and visit Boatfest, I mean I can think of some great regrets in life. That's number one.
That's going to be the top of your
number
list.
one.
And you're going to be there, of course.
I've been told that.
Yeah,
I think he's letting me in half price.
Yeah. You know, it's some people in the chat pointed out that in the Boatfest picture, it does in fact look like Boat is running me over with his car.
I think that's fair.
Well, I think that's appropriate because that's the way I feel after looking at the schedule. And somewhere nearby me is you and Jack Flack, as we're all getting ran over. They're under the car as Boat runs it over.
You remember that Mortal Kombat fatality where they dropped the MK machine on the guy?
Yeah.
That's where I am. I'm under the retro machine. I've already been crushed.
It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting all my various machines and consoles out and just having a big rows of them. That'll be a lot of fun to play. Plus, you should bring those two crazy. You had that crazy, was it Selectronic or whatever that someone sent you a long time ago?
I'm bringing stuff.
That'll
I'm actually having at least one event at Boatfest, maybe two. That's sort of a secret.
Okay.
I pledge that there will be something to do every minute of every day while you're at Boatfest.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's already booked me for that. Super Cassette Vision. That's it.
Yep.
Look, Boat's in the house. What's going on, Boat? I can't believe it. Unless you type that with your mind. There you go. So, anyway, check us out. It should be a lot of fun, sincerely. And for those folks that can't make it, we're going to stream
What's wrong with you?
Some people live in other countries and stuff. Far
if they
away
start
countries.
walking now, they'll make it.
What if they live overseas?
They can swim.
No, they can't. Not that far.
All right.
That much said, we will be streaming this, assuming the internet's working at a decent clip in the area. We're going to stream. We're maybe have two things going on. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, guys, if you are not able to make it for whatever reason, we are planning on making this an online event too. We want everyone to feel like they're involved, even if they're, thousands of miles away.
That's right. Very well said, Brent. Now, with all that said, I want to touch on a special man that will be at Boatfest. No, not you. I said special man. And that's our good buddy Frank over at Retro Rewind. Frank and a contingent of hosers will be journeying down with sled dogs or whatever they use to get out of Canada to cross the border with hordes of weird equipment on their way to Boatfest. Why do I bring this up?
I believe they rely on the kindness of strangers.
Well, maybe that's the case. But I bring this up because our good buddy Frank has a little company you might have heard of. It's called Retro Rewind.
RetroRewind.ca.
For all your retro needs. not only do I recommend Frank for his convenience and for his pricing, but I recommend him because he's a good guy, a stand-up guy. And when you send items to him to be fixed, if you send items to be recapped, or if you purchase items from Frank, you know for certain that you are purchasing things from someone who is trusted and has a great name in the community. I'm not just saying that because Frank shows ads on here, Frank shows up on the stream. It's because I've dealt with Frank.
Dude.
He's a good guy. He's a charity-raising guy.
Yes.
And he also, oh, by the way, listen, I'm a good guy, but there's a difference. I'm a sort of a sketchy, unskilled tech.
Oh, I wouldn't leave any money around you at all.
No. But Frank is a world-class mega tech with top-shelf equipment to take care of any sort of contingencies that might rise up from fixing and repairing and recapping various accoutrements when it comes to computers in the Commodore and Tandy line. Now, do you need extra goodies? Do you need cards? Do you need cartridges for your C64?
Yes.
Sure, he's got them.
Oh.
Do you need accelerators? Do you need HDMI solutions for your Amiga? He's got them. Do you need somebody to get into a CDTV you've got sitting in the closet to recap that sucker? That's your man. And if you don't want him to do it, he'll send you the caps, brother.
There you go.
So I wholeheartedly recommend our good buddy Frank. And if you decide to take part and purchase any of Frank's various wares, if you'll use the promo code Amigos10, you can save 10% off any order. 10%.
That's a good deal.
Listen, a lot of these places, they give you a couple percent. They might give you 5%. That's 1/10 the freaking price. 10%?
Yes, that's how percentages work.
That's right. I'm just saying, that's not chicken feed, brother. You got to get in and get paid. Frank's not taking it to the money bank here.
You know what you do?
I don't.
You order a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Bam, you hit them with the code. Now you're saving hundreds.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's a good idea. Please, that's RetroRewind.ca. Go and give Frank a shot. He will take care of you, and you will come back over and over again. And with all that said, Brent,
That was kind of creepy, Aaron.
It's time to take you, bam, to Detroit, Rock City. Remember that song from Kiss? It's one of their best songs, I think, in my opinion.
No.
Not a fan of that one?
I mean, it's okay.
Come on, Ace Frehley's guitar solo is awesome. You don't even know the song.
I do, too.
He doesn't know anything about Kiss. So, let's talk about Detroit. Oh, God. Have you ever played this one?
Never been there.
Ever heard this one? Ever heard of
before this week? No.
I knew it. I knew it. I don't blame you. Who knew? I never heard of it either. You know, I would have, well, I'll get into it. So, released in 94, 2 discs. Now, let's get into this straight away. You got 2 versions of the old Detroit here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got the AGA version, and you've got the OCS, ECS, old school version. Now,
I don't know which one I played.
Well, I played the AGA version, but I had to look at both. This is not the kind of game where having the AGA version is going to make a huge difference. And because it's not like this is a, don't get me wrong, this is a graphically nice game, but it's not like you're losing anything from playing one version or the other, but it's there.
The static graphics are nice.
Yeah, they're quite nice. So this was published by an outfit called Impressions.
Oh,
Impressions. And this, the guy that designed this is a fellow named David Lester. I didn't know who this was, but I did a little research. He worked on a game called Fighter Command and 2 games I have heard of, High Seas Trader and Lords of the Realm. A lot of the staff involved in this game, certainly all the coders, pretty much didn't work on much else on the Amiga. But the graphics folks, and there's a fleet of graphics people that work on this. I mean, there's literally 7 or 8 people.
Which is a little confusing.
It's crazy that amount of. I don't think I've ever seen a game that had this many people. That looks like Monkey Island or something. That had this many people work on it. And the majority of the people that worked on this worked on Lords of the Realm and High Seas Trader, where they're. So I guess they also worked on the same stuff.
Now I have a question, Aaron. Yeah. I'm seeing the list of graphics.
Right, I know what you're going to say. Right? Go ahead, yeah.
What did all these people do?
Don't know. I don't know exactly.
I mean, did they literally work on one scene a piece?
Well, maybe they worked on. I mean, there's a lot of different scenes, and maybe they worked on some of the different types of models of car. I don't know. The bigger question is, one of the graphics folks, his name is simply listed as Little Gangsta.
It's
so
Detroit. I'm totally fine with that.
They brought in a local guy.
Yeah, they were like, "Listen, does this look right?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'd kind of like. He hadn't done anything. I looked. I don't know who Little Gangster is, but that's a first for me. The music on this, Christopher L. Denman, who worked on a ton of stuff, including Cool World, Ancient Games, and the other musician that worked on this was a fellow named Jason P. Rinaldi, who also worked on High Seas Trader.
Wait, this had 2 music guys?
Yeah, 2 music guys. I know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you.
This had a lot of overhead.
There's a ton of people that worked on this. I hope they sold a lot of these. I'll be honest with you.
I have a direct commentary on this later.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
What is Detroit? Well, Detroit is, I know, too easy, right? It's a 1 to 4 player turn-based simulation, all right? That when you play it, you become the guy that owns and operates an automobile design and manufacturing outfit.
Yes.
Okay. You're the head. You do it all. You're a one-man crew. So.
Well, no.
I mean, I'm saying you make all the decisions. Okay, you don't go out and build the cars.
You CEO it.
Yeah. So this is turn-based, as I mentioned, not necessarily my bag.
Right.
But this game, I mean, it gives you a lot to do with not a whole lot of places to do it. All right, so Britt mentioned all the music guys, all the graphics guys. Why? Well, the reason he said that was there aren't a ton of graphics or a ton of music in this game.
No.
It's now what graphics that are there are quite nice.
Yeah,
they're well animated.
The present graphics are pleasant.
But what they are effectively are backdrops to the various areas you'll go to perform various duties that it takes to run a car outfit. When you start the game, you're given the choice of which level of play you want. There's quite a few levels, including, and they're all based on how much money you start off with.
Yes.
I started off with the easiest level that was $250,000, but you could go all the way to a level where you actually have to take out a loan to start the game.
It's like if I walked up and was like, I'm going to start a car manufacturing plant today. Mr. Banker, will you support me in this endeavor? He'd be like, get out.
Yeah. It's so, but I mean, that why? Well, because this game is a very, very in-depth game. I think they really, this is the kind of game that is what we would call a micromanagement game. And I see the look on your face. When I say it's a very detailed game, I think it is. But I know where you're going, and we'll get to. I know what your criticisms are going to be. So
you don't know me.
Oh, I know you. So
I'm feeling Detroit today.
I can tell. So you start your company in 1908. Now, do you know why that is?
Way back when the first cars were just coming off the line.
In real life, that was the very first year that the Model T was brought out. And have you ever seen a Model T, by the way?
Yeah.
Like a car show or something?
Yeah. Dad drugged me to enough of those to see that.
Yeah. And so the goal of the game is to become a profitable automobile design and manufacturing outfit. And ultimately, I believe there's a time limit, I think it's 100 years that you have to be the best and most profitable car manufacturing and design outfit. And it takes place in Detroit because that's where we made all the cars. It makes sense.
It sort of takes place in Detroit.
The name is Detroit. You actually can start your plants anywhere you want.
It's kind of odd that you're like, man, I'm going to play Detroit. Time to go to South America.
Yeah, it is weird. So when you start the game, of course, like I said, you pick the difficulty level, and you also set up how many AI opponents you're going to have versus humans. Again, this is a 4-player game, and I will say, just right out of the gate, playing this with 4 people might really change how the game. It'd certainly probably be a harder game, but it would also probably be a boring game for the 3 people that sat around where you tinkered with numbers.
Let me tell you something. If you played this with 4 other humans all around the computer, by turn 3, you're going to be looking to step in front of some of those cars.
Yeah. So you're probably asking yourself, okay, you're a car manufacturer.
It's true.
What does that entail? Well, really, it entails this takes you everywhere from creating and upgrading and inventing new car components and car bodies to actually picking out which body designs to go with and upgrading those designs. Not only are you picking car bodies, you're picking the suspensions, the braking systems, the safety measures that are involved, the luxury items. It's a whole list of things that will go into making your car. Now, of course, when you start out in 1908, the choices for, say, luxury items are pretty limited. By that, I mean nothing.
Yeah, your luxury item is getting the car.
Yeah, in fact, early in the game, where you have your R&D guys, and they're painfully slow. I cranked all my guys to do certain tasks to get it done quicker, and it didn't help because it takes forever.
We're going to talk about that.
And I learned, so once you have established the design you want your R&D to look at, eventually what they'll do is they will crank out a prototype. Yeah. Now, if you're thinking I'm going to make the Homer, you're not going to make the Homer. They're set designs that you can tinker with slightly, but you can't go in there and free draw your car. All right, so which is kind of a bummer.
You get lots of body parts.
Yeah, you do. So once you've got a car, you can make yourself a prototype of the car. Then what you can do is you can go out and put that car through rigorous testing. This is interesting, where you have your engineers go out, and it shows, you don't get to control the car, but it shows the car, and it gives you the stats. How is the turn radius? How long does it take to brake? What's the gas mileage? What's the top speed? The first couple cars I made, you probably could have walked there faster. They were so slow, and the braking time was like 2 hours. I mean, it took forever. And it was funny to watch them on this little track as they skidded all over the place. And then once you have finished developing the car, you're not done. You're not even close to being done. Then it's time to go and try to figure out where you're going to build it and with how many men. So you've got to hire some people. You've got to hire technicians, and you've got to hire staff, and you've got to put them to work in a factory, and you've got to populate a line with your car. And the car has to go through the line, and these guys work on it, and they can make so many cars per line. And if you want a ton of cars, you could crank up multiple lines. And if you really feel froggy, you could also open up multiple factories right away. You don't have to start. You can start with multiple factories, including making multiple different cars. You can do all these things. But it's a process of going to the factory screen, and this is all. Don't think to yourself, hey, this will be cool to see all these guys going to. No, you don't. This is all numbers on the screen. Okay, I don't want anybody to think.
And you're not done yet.
Yeah. So once now you've got guys making the car. Okay, you've got guys that are acting as technicians in the car,
researching,
and you've got guys researching. Well, you can also look at local trends to see what people want in various places. And then you also, of course, who's going to buy your car if they don't know about it? So you've got advertising. Are you going to advertise in a woman's magazine? Are you going to advertise in a car magazine? Are you going to advertise in posters and film and all this crazy stuff? There's a ton of different sports
and billboards.
Yeah. And you've got an allotment of money. I mean, you can spend all your money. You can have a $250,000 billboard if you want.
It doesn't go well if you do that.
You'll lose, but you can do that. So you've advertised your car, right? You've done all the stuff you need to do. I'm sure there's so much that I'm sure I'm leaving something out. But ultimately, you've got everything ready. Now it's time to get your car ready to go. Now, before I get to what happens when you start selling cars, this game is turn-based. So every turn, you're doing all this stuff. There's a calendar in the lower right-hand side of the screen. You can hit the button, and you sort of go to the next month. All right?
Yeah. What you're actually doing is you're setting up what's going to happen. And when you hit that in turn button or next month button, it says, okay, what you've set up has processed for a month. Here's what happened.
Right, exactly. So once you hit that button, normally what will happen is you'll get a newspaper article, and it will say like, hey, Amalgamated Design is killing it out there. Well, normally I wasn't Amalgamated Design. I was Amigo Aaron Motors or whatever, and it didn't say jack squat about my motor company. And
see, I got tons of news articles about me.
Well, I mean, eventually you do, but at the beginning you don't.
But it was like, Brent's guys are on strike again. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, we didn't mention this, but you also control what you pay people.
Yeah.
And so, when you hit that month button, a funny thing happens, right? You see all your money on the screen and a big checklist of money. And so it tells you what your total cost. It's the bottom line. It tells you what the total cost was. and then how much money you made. Now, the first month or two, it's all going out. You ain't bringing nothing in. And then eventually, you start cranking out cars. Now, I will say, once I started cranking out cars, I could stay pretty profitable for the most part as I went up through the ranks. But occasionally weird stuff happens, or the workers want more money. Line breaks down.
Well, and also world events.
World events happen. Wars.
When World War I breaks out, like no one wants to buy a car.
Well, also, and you have work shortages and stuff. And so they take into account real world events that happen.
Major ones, of course.
That happened during. Now, I'll be honest. I did not play this game for 100 years. Newsflash.
Oh no, I died before. Before then.
You can do okay. But you're gonna take a bath early on, and then if you can get to the third round, I mean, I was making money surprisingly early. But here's the thing, my model may not be good for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I know it wasn't. It wasn't good for the long haul. And so
you started with bukus of cash too.
Now the game gets a lot more. The research part of this is where most of the fun is, I think. But it's. Well, let me rephrase that. That's where most of the fun should be, but that part's not as much fun. It's not like Civilization or something. It's just that part's really slow, and it's not like you could have a rocket car in like 1920. You know?
Oh,
what I mean?
No.
You can't really do much of anything, and so you just basically struggle with these crap mobiles. Now it is neat when you suddenly get a better suspension or something, or a suspension, because your first couple cars don't have any suspension.
Yeah.
You know. So that's kind of neat, and you get to pick the color. There's not as much customization on this as I would have liked, to be honest with you. I've talked for a while. What were your initial impressions of this thing, and how did you get on with it early on?
I should have loved this game.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be 100% honest. I only played this game for a couple of hours.
Brent was a late notice replacement here.
So, the very first thing I did was grab the WMD or the
weapon of mass destruction. Now, what are your cars, son? They would have put wheels on that.
The WHD load.
Yeah.
Fired it up. So I don't know if I was playing. I would imagine I'm playing the better version.
They probably had the HEA version, because it is hard drive installable.
And I noticed everywhere you go to play this game or hear about the game, everywhere has the manual. Which I was like, man, they're really pushing this.
You got to have the manual.
So I was like, all right. I'm going in blind. Here we go. Fired it up.
So you didn't use the manual at all?
Well, I'm getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I see what's going on, and I understand what's going on, right?
Right.
So I get my lineup. I get cars going. I'm losing money, but what are you going to do? And I'm actually having an okay time. And then I actually look at the manual, and I kind of wish I didn't, which is odd, right?
It is odd. I didn't expect you to say that.
The manual, or it was text instructions, so maybe this was someone's hints. Maybe this was not the official manual. Maybe this was like a README file from ages ago that someone put together. But it kept saying, it's like, well, okay, you've got to put guys into research, and you got to put guys on your line. But there's a certain number that you're really trying to figure out. We're not going to spoil it, but this, you're searching for this number.
A ratio, the magic ratio.
I hate that.
What, that ruined it for you?
Yes, because two things happen when you know that, okay? First of all, you're going to have to tinker until you find out what works best. And it's probably not going to work the best forever, but it's always going to be tinkering to see, to get that perfect line, right?
Yeah.
And when you do figure it out, that the game is ruined because you're going to keep going back to that line. I would have much preferred. It's so static, right? It's not dynamic at all. It's so static. I would have much preferred that if they would have said, listen, if you're going to hire 30 guys, right, and you're going to dump them all into engine, you're going to be learning new engine stuff quicker than someone that only has 4 or 5 guys in there. But that's not, at least in my experience, that's not the case. You can overload a research, and it does no better than if you would have had 20 less guys.
Listen, I agree with you on that. That's absolutely a fact. You can. It's pointless to put too many guys.
And it does not give you the needed player feedback to know, first of all, how far something has progressed.
Yeah.
It doesn't give
and
you...
that's maddening, because you don't know how close you are.
Yeah.
How close am I to getting another body type or different safety measures? You don't know.
And it doesn't have to pop up a progress bar, right? It doesn't have to be that dry.
It would be helpful.
It should, but you should be able to go and talk after a month has passed, right? When you hit your intern button, if you would be able to have a meeting with your researchers, and they could come out and say, listen, we're completely lost. You know, we're doing our best. Like, that would be an option that says, you know what, you're nowhere near getting this place.
Yeah.
Or if they would say, listen, we're right there. If we had a few more guys, we could push this over the top. That kind of feedback would have made an immense difference in this game for me.
Yeah.
Not having that, I feel like I'm throwing darts at a board, and if something actually hits, you don't know it until after the fact. It was just so maddening.
Yeah.
Another thing.
I agree with everything you said there.
Advertisement, right?
Yeah.
Some things are pretty obvious. Like if you're building a car that you're trying to target women with, you want to advertise with a women's magazine.
Right.
I'm guessing sports was the guy equivalent to that.
Yeah.
And billboards, maybe just the general. But I felt like they went so far to add all these different options, and it's like the illusion of choice. When you can't see something making a difference, I mean, it's making a difference, right, in the background.
But it's making it in an equational difference.
Right.
It's not a tactile.
Right. And because of that, this game goes to what I should have loved, because I love this type of game, to me just being like, I'm not going to sit here for 6 hours trying to find out what the magic number is.
Yeah, you know, I agree with what you said, and I'm going to go a step further. This game is a sterile, joyless affair. The graphics on this are real nice. They're well done and well rendered. But, like, how about a little fun, okay? If I'm making a billboard, how about showing me something?
Or even...
or a magazine article. Let's see something. They show me newspapers. Let me see my product advertised or something like that.
Or let me, just put the car, because you design your car, right? You have basically your front, your middle, and your back. You choose what car you've got, right? Just have that car on a billboard that you maybe put up in the corner and put some text. Even if it does nothing, this is what happened, Aaron. This game wanted to be a board game. I've played enough board games to guarantee
it is board game.
This game wanted to be a board game, right? But it's a computer game, and they forgot to add in those elements to make the computer game fun.
I'll take it a step further in terms of the overall design of the interface, which I found fine for the most part. There's also shortcut keys. There's a huge list of shortcut keys for this. It's mostly because of the PC. There's an IBM version as well.
DOS,
And some people in DOS don't have my mouse, and so they included all those, and they carried them over the Amiga. You can flip through with the function. I never did this, but you could. But I found the mouse control, when you try to do stuff, difficult. The cursor,
really?
I just had trouble clicking on stuff sometimes, and it was because the way that it's on the screen, it's not in the most spaced way to fit the big old mouse cursor that they give you. And I had trouble clicking on stuff.
I know what you're talking about.
When you click numbers and stuff, sometimes if I use the mouse to click on the plus sign to add a guy, I would just go all of them. Yeah. I'm like, no. And I tried 2 different outfits that did on both of them, so it's definitely not emulation. Something's going on there, which I don't like. I don't like that. We don't need that piled on. But I mean, those are minor quabbles versus some of the other stuff. The funny thing about this game, though, is, I mean, for all of the things you can do, we haven't gotten into everything, because there are detailed reports, sales reports, how your cars did in other places, like who's buying them and stuff. It's madness. There's so much stuff in there, but really, this is a game where you look at what, 5, 6 different screens over and over. That's the game. So it's a game of figures. I mean, there may be some egghead accountant that this is like their dream game, but there wasn't enough pizzazz in a game like this. You know, we played a game a while back where you put together hot rods and raced them.
Yeah.
Right now, the racing part of it wasn't that good, but it had a lot of pizzazz. It had cool stuff on the wall. Stuff happened. You know, it was interesting. You know, this game needed some of that sort of razzmatazz. It was just cold, sterile, and after a while, I just got bored of it. If I'm honest, I kept playing it because, I mean, there are some things I like. It's nice to have a successful car. It's nice to kind of see your R&D guys move ahead to where you can get something cooking. I can tell you something else too. I had to get some tips on this to figure out what I was doing. Even with the docs, I had to watch. In fact, the fellow that did this video here, I watched the playthrough on this just to try to figure out the flow of it, because when you jump in at the beginning, you just see this like this compound of buildings, and when you start clicking through these buildings, it can be overwhelming real quick. Yeah. You're like, my God, each one of these buildings has like 50 million items in it to do. Like, what do I do first? You know, and the documentation has sort of a basic rundown, but it's a fairly vague rundown. You know. And it was better to see a guy play it. The downside of that is I basically played it sort of like him. I got sort of similar results, you know. And so there you go. I watched a playthrough of one guy who got pretty well into the game, and then a bug crept in, which is a known bug with this game. It didn't happen to me, but a bug crept in, and it took all of his guys. So the game was effectively over.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and there's another one that gives you like so many guys that you can't continue. These are known bugs of the game. So this is the kind of game you're going to want to save early and often, because
I did see
these bugs can creep in. And I read it over and over, and I saw it. I saw a guy playing it and having it firsthand. So with all that said, where do you place this one?
Man,
it's
I want to recommend this game because this is my jam.
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm not platforming or adventuring or first person shooting or, you know, team deathmatching, when I just want to sit down and kind of chill, I go for these type of games. And I do like that it is at your pace. Nothing happens. Nothing is set in stone until you hit that end of month button.
Yeah.
And that part of it could be such a chill game.
Yeah.
But it's just so empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because of that, I can't recommend it unless you are just a diehard either car buff. Maybe they'll get something out of this that I didn't.
Or just a simulator buff that likes the numbers aspects of it.
Even
some people love that.
But even it doesn't even have that good my numbers got bigger feel, because that part of it is such a grind.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. I can't recommend it.
These guys should have played a game like Civilization, for example, and because that game has, aside from the fact it's a brilliant game, it's got a lot of pizzazz.
Well,
it's got a lot more fun elements in it than this has, and the research and stuff, they cut you some slack. This one needs, the research part of this was the worst part. I really hated that the worst. I did look this up in the mags to see how it did. The people over at Lemon gave this a 7.14 for the non-AGA version, and the AGA version they've got a 7.63, so pretty close. There was only one AGA review of this. It was from the one which gave it a 78%. The regular non-AGA version had a few more reviews. Amiga Format gave it a 69. Amiga Power mounted the top rope and dropped the big elbow. 27%. That's brutal. CU Amiga gave this an 85% overall magazine average, 60%. I also looked this up on eBay, and you can get this thing for $35 and $25 in the UK. We did get a myriad of listener reviews.
Oh, excellent.
I'll start with our good friend. Let me find him here. We've got a good friend here somewhere. Here he is. Super Tech Boy writes, strategy games have always been greatly appealing to me, whether fighting aliens as covert organization XCOM or colonizing the world in Sid Meier's Colonization. So it would seem natural that a turn-based strategy game where I got to design automobiles and run a motor company with the intent of world domination would be right up my alley. Sadly, this game fell short for me. I have spent many hours on this game. I want to like this game. I should like this game, but the game has no depth. You start the game by picking a region you want to form your motor company. From the global map, you purchase sales offices and factories, and workers and researchers to put the money towards various advertising platforms. You go about designing your automobile, just like we talked about. The design interface gives you a handful of chassis, such as sedans, sports cars, trucks, and vans. Next, you cycle through the available body section for the automobile's front, middle, and rear. Next, you can choose a color for the exterior paint and name your automobile. All this stuff is far less fun than it sounds, by the way. Then you take your vehicle to the test track, where it completes a series of animated tests, such as acceleration, braking, handling, and safety. Finally, with a successful test, you assign your vehicle to an assembly line and assign workers to work that line. I think we should have just had a Super Tech Boy sitting and said we could have went home. Within 10 minutes, you wonder if the devs forgot to include the rest of the game. So you search around wondering if there's a button somewhere that launches the rest of the game. But alas, there is not. The graphics are forgettable, the car design module is mediocre, the music is average, this game is dull, and is nothing more than a spreadsheet simulator. Designing your own car and building an automotive empire sounds like an incredible vision for a game. I wish this vision would have been executed better. 1 out of 10.
Oh,
holy smokes.
I mean, I
Super Tech Boy.
I agree with everything Super Tech Boy said, but 1 out of 10, I mean, I'm giving this at least a 3.
Holy smokes.
I didn't vomit when I
what
turned
a
it on.
beatdown. It's like Super Tech Boy gonged it. Bum Face Pooh Hands sent a review in. Classy as ever. The game is great. If you want a game to teach your kids the realities of the working world, owning a car factory and getting to design the car of your dreams sounds fun, right? No. In reality, it's a world of micromanagement, staring blankly at numbers on the screen, clicking buttons with little thought or conviction, and hoping you won't get found out about being the fraud that you are. After you're done with randomly changing numbers, you can hide in your office and switch off the lights as your reward for your hard work. The highlight of the working day. Bumface Pooh Hand rating, 1 hand up, but only for the light switch on the wall.
No.
I'm still not 100% sure about the Bumface Pooh Hands rating system.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Lastly, Level Lord chimes in. Did not spend too much time with the Detroit. Played only 5 or 6 turns, and will not leave a score. Detroit is a standard management/tycoon game where you spend time designing cars, researching new models, and all other important aspects of the car, taking care of the marketing and managing your employees. Without reading the manual or any instructions, I felt right at home and was able to navigate all menus with ease and start the first car production. As a strategy/management gamer, it gave me great joy to go through all the reports and charts that the game provided. Read about profits and losses and so on. I will definitely play this more in the future. Negative side of the game was the music, opening an in-game tune, which sounded horrible and persistently annoying, while the graphics were good for this kind of game. Hopefully there's an option to turn it off. I'm curious about the AI and how it will play, or will it just cheat? Something to find out in the future. I will say it's been my experience from reading and playing that the AI is not particularly tough, at least on the easiest level, but it may get super
I
difficult.
don't know, man. The AI I played against, I did not play on the easiest level.
Oh, there you
Because
go.
I was like, man, what idiot would do that?
That's where you. Boy, what a dumb question that was.
I went in the middle, and by like month 3, one of my opponents had over $500,000.
There you
And I
go.
was like, please, can I work in your factory?
So I think we can conclude our look at Detroit by saying, if this is the sort of game that might appeal to you, then this is probably the sort of game that might appeal to you.
I think that is a very true statement.
Let's see what we've been up to this week on the old site updates, Brent. While we're here, while we're in the neighborhood, me and the boat, we do this crazy thing. You may have heard about it, dude. It's called the Coco Show, brother. I think me and you even had it.
Oh,
Yeah,
show?
it's about this thing called the TR City Color Computer, brother. And this time out, myself and the boat took a look at the new Nick Marete's joint, 0 Hour. It's brand new, brother.
Ooh.
It's double solid gold, and we check it out, and I don't want to spoil it, but we liked it. We check it out in this episode of Coco Show. I should mention, not to plug Boatfest again, but I'll be giving away a sealed copy of this particular Coco game at Boatfest.
Can I win it?
No, you're an uneligible non-participant. And you haven't tried the old 0 hour yet, have you?
I have not.
Have you seen what it looks like?
I have, yes.
It's a looker.
Yeah.
It's a looker. It's one of the best. It's probably the best looking Coco game ever made.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah. So please, if you are interested in 0 hour, check us out. That's the Coco Show, the new one. It's up now on the Amigos Retro Game channel. Now, Brent, I'm going to let you speak on this, or the other offering we had on this channel, myself and you. And this time out, we did something near and dear to your hearts, the old calculator games, Brent. What do you think?
You're wearing a red shirt, and I'm wearing a red shirt.
Creepy, I know.
Yeah. We really focused on the TI 81 and 85 and kind of the history that Texas Instrument has in the calculator market, at least here in North America, and some amazing games that you can play on this thing. It's back in the day, we had just access to BASIC, as in the programming language, or a spin-off of it, and had tons of fun with that. But when they broke the code, when they got into that TI-85 and got the assembly language going, it really took what you could do on a calculator, which is horrible and crazy to say, but it really took what you could do on a calculator to the next level, and it's worth checking out.
We played Z-Doom, which is the Doom clone on the calculator, and we also played the very safe, sort of mundane Z-Tetris that Brent picked.
Yes.
I chanced it. Brent did not. We had a good time on this one, though, Brent. Calculators, I didn't think I'd be gaming on those. Now, we also have a little thing I like to call, BAM, the Amiga stream team. This always gets crazy here with what we put up, and this week was no exception, Brent. I want to start off with part 2 of the Thanks for Giving Marathon. On this is from last November. I'm still putting these things up. I'm going through them. And this is Thanks for Giving Marathon Part 2, the Atari 5200 ColecoVision. We played a ton of games on these.
Yes.
And had a lot of fun with this. So if you are interested in catching up on the marathon, give this a shot.
I mean, before you know it, it'll be time for Thanksgiving for Giving again.
My goal is to finish these up right before the next Amiga.
Good call.
Thanks for Giving. Next on the docket, this was our pre-show from the last week, where we talk about what we thought about the Eurovision Song Contest that you didn't see.
That's right.
And then I complained about how much it hurts to build a pool.
Not quite as good as the week previous.
It was brutal. But we had a lot of fun. I started putting these pre-shows up, so if you want to just watch clearly, after a show like this, who wouldn't want to hear our chat, our banter? So if you can't get enough, hop over to the Amigo stream team and check that out. Now, we got to talk on this. There's a guy named Rob Flack O'Hara. He was in here earlier, and he does a little show I like to call the Sprite Castle.
I think he likes to call it that too.
This time out on the Sprite Castle, one of my all-time favorite games, Jumpman. And then I was wondering, I was like, I know about Jumpman because it's awesome.
Yes.
But does Flack know the true secret of Jumpman? He does. And the true secret is Jumpman Lives, which is the DOS sequel where they take every Jumpman and smash it into one super Jumpman and then add a bunch of crazy crap to the Jumpman. It's awesome. If you like Jumpman, this is the show for you. I love Jumpman. And then I think Like a DOS will also be about Jumpman. I should mention that, speaking of Jack Flack, that just today a new You Don't Know Flack has dropped, which involves 2 parts in one show. The first part is it's a little sayings he picked up from TV and movies, where he goes through and tries to figure out where he picked them up at. And part 2 is him riding on a train. Talks about taking a train.
Good time.
Which was something that got me talking to you about trains a little earlier. I also want to congratulate Jack Flack. I know there's a picture here somewhere. Jack Flack got himself, there it is. He got himself a van. That's his buddy right there. And so he got himself a nice van to do his stealth van thing. So that should be exciting. And I'm hoping that we'll see the stealth van when he rolls up to Boatfest. That should be a lot of fun. So You can't ever get enough of the Jack Flag. Now, this is an event. I got to speak on this one for a minute, Brent. This is going to take me a second here. This is, I just put this up. So, a lot of people don't know that last week, last Friday and Saturday was Cocoa Fest up near Chicago. And a lot of our buddies went up there. This is a celebration of everything that is TRS-80 color computer. And they drew great up there. Nearly 200 people, I think, came to this thing. It was a big deal. And it was a huge crowd. Great fun. And on the way back, a certain pair of fellows had to stop in Pennsylvania, a couple hosiers, before they rolled home. And they thought, well, heck, we'll stop down and see the Amigos and the Brent, who had been working and was beat down.
Well, no, I had to get up at incredibly early in the morning. I was in bed when you called.
Yeah.
And then through a certain number of events, I was up until 4 in the morning.
Well, there you go.
Or no, I'm sorry, 2 in the morning.
So these two men were our own good buddy, all hail, L. Curtis Boyle, and our good buddy Ken from Canadian Retro Things, which check his channel out when you get a chance. It's a great channel. And they were down and stopped by and hung out with me and Boat for a good while over at the Boat's basement studio. And so Boat said, heck, let's fire this thing up. We started to stream up, and Curtis hooked up a Coco with a Gimme X in it and did a demonstration for us live. We recorded it. Then Curtis showed us some stuff on Nitros 9, which even as a zombie, as tired as he was, he reeled this stuff off like it was like,
well,
I think Curtis has an embedded ROM up here that can just it just has all this information. And we had a good time. And then after we left here, Curtis and Ken came over here at the arcade for a little while. Then we hung out in the living room for a while and chatted. It was a nice, very nice visit. Great to meet those guys in person. And so I thought, heck, I'm going to get this up straight away. So I uploaded this. This is the stream that we shot as Curtis goes through and talks about the Coco. We just chat for a little while. It was a lot of fun. And I also want to thank the guys for bringing me some Rainbow magazines and a cartridge. And they brought both a cartridge. They brought you a magazine as well, the Brent.
Oh, awesome.
So that was nice. So thanks, guys. It was great meeting you guys. I really had a lot of fun with that.
And I will meet you at Boatfest.
Yes, and Curtis will be back for Boatfest. Brent, I think that's all we've got for that. Now, normally this is when Boat would address his horrible, horrible song. But we're not going to be doing that this week.
Oh, I was all ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But we're not going to let you sing. My God, you can sing at Boatfest after everybody's gone. We do want to thank all of our fine supporters and Patreons. Normally, we would just read the Patreon list, which I don't have right here. So, but what I will do is, I will flip, just for fun, because we're recording this so late, I thought it might be kind of fun to just say a happy hidely ho to the folks that are in the chat here with us tonight. I'm going to go down through and mention a few here. We got Amiga Live. Oh, gosh, we love him. Another TV viewer, which I think is a bot. Anytal, Atten. What are you holding your head in shame for?
Why would you call out the bot?
Well, I didn't know for sure, and you don't want to leave anybody out.
Listen, we love our robot overlords.
Yeah. Odyssea. This is now I'm starting to think it's a bad day because I can't pronounce these names. Avasimfor, Beach Bum 7, real guy. Bitstorm, Big Damn Judge. I like that. Blow Jellyfish, we know him. That's our good buddy, Good Matt from the TSI regulars. Brock 101, Buck Owens, Commander Root, Frodo and L. HSI Ken. John Marshall, our good buddy right down the road here. L. Curtis Boyle, all hail. Level Lord Soup in the house, the Soupster. Mitsuyama, who I think just went to bed.
Mitsuyama.
M. Kelly 0904. Nick Marente is in the house. There he is. I can't believe it. Paco Otake. RetroRewind.ca, a.k.a. Frank. Ricky DeRocher. You want a big something? It's written cool guy style. I don't know what that says. And we've also got, how do we skip ahead here? Oh my, look at that. The screen froze up on me. Well, there you go. That's the last time I try that. We want to thank everyone.
That was a very
us.
Detroit ending.
Would you like to see what we're playing next week, Britt, that you're not going to be a part of?
No.
Well, I'm going to show you anyway. Let's see what it is.
Well.
Look, Flippy-Doo. How'd you do that, the Britt? It's Whizball. So that means, you know what that means? Next week is one of our retroactive, super old school. We redo an episode that we did long ago. It's the old Whizball.
I think that's called double dipping.
Is that no? It's because the other ones, a lot of them didn't have video. And who wouldn't want to see me play Whizball? I know I would. So please join us next week for some Whizball action. Brent, I'd like to thank you for filling in for the boat this week. Always a pleasure to spend more time with you.
I'm assuming the check will just in the mail, or
oh, it'll be in the mail, all right. I hope you're taking out a party post-dated out-of-state check. There you go. We'll be back on early Sunday morning for ARG Presents. Please, by the way, we didn't plug that show. It's our other show, ARG Presents. We go every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should be a lot of fun. What's the show this week?
It is serious games that are funny.
You're close enough. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks for staying up late with us, everybody. And until next time, adios.